Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case. Today I've got a very important text message to share with you, which has just recently been revealed by a viewer on my channel who was directly contacted by Carter Combs, in which they received a threatening text message of violence. This is going to be presented to you today. I'm going to show you it as proof. We're going to analyse and even add on from previous threats of others in the past and see, do they all group together? Welcome to anyone and everyone watching right now during this live premiere. Share your thoughts, opinions, reactions in the live chat box right hand side of the screen. And if you're watching on replay, you can let me know all your thoughts, feelings and questions down below under this video in the comment section. You'll also find a pinned comment by me if you want to check that out, with additional links if you want to support this channel. As of last night, big shout out to Skeptical and Cleo for their super chats, much appreciated. And last but not least, if you are interested in previous coverage on the Noah Presgrove case and the latest news, be sure to check my previous and earlier videos out. You'll notice it top right corner of the screen where the I symbol is. After watching this, hover over it and then you'll find the playlist and the previous videos. Now, I do want to give a brief disclaimer for this video, so there's full clarity and transparency. Basically, a viewer on my channel left a comment on Carter Combs' Instagram page, one of her public posts. It appears to be a newish account of hers. Can it be confirmed that it is her account? Absolutely. When you go to the follower or following section of their profile, you got Jade Milan, you got Jasmine Milan. These are party goers that were present at the time of that party, which Noah attended, in which Carter Combs did as well, because she lives in the house, at least at the time, okay? So this viewer on my channel left a public comment. Was it thought-provoking? Could it have rattled the bear, the cage, whatever you want to call it? Maybe. We'll take a look from the perspective and viewpoint of that viewer as they explain what they briefly said to Carter Combs and to see, does it warrant her response back? But at the end of the day, one person's comment was public, the other one's, Carter Combs, was private. And I wonder why it was private behind closed doors, so none of her followers could see what she's like and what's her attitude and tone like. Because take in mind, what's most important here is that the original comment, okay, the thought-provoking comment, if you want to call it that, was about Noah Presgrove. And the response to it was very bad taste, considering that Noah Presgrove, what happened to him from the looks of it and his injuries. I won't say any more because I'll show it on screen so you can see it for yourself. But the other disclaimer I want to mention is that on Instagram, Carter Combs' profile is publicly viewable within the public domain, their name, their followers, friends, list, whatever you want to call it, post photos. It's publicly viewable. Anyone can see it. As for this message, this DM, not everyone can see it. So I'm just being honest there, okay? But the screenshot isn't from my point of view. I did not take the screenshot. It's the viewer that had it, their own little experience, and now sharing it here, you know, to spread awareness so more people see it, because we've seen the pattern and trend of certain characters in the case being a bit threatening or a bit defensive at times. So I just want to put that out there so you know. So without further ado, let's get into this. So here we are. This is my point of view on Instagram. I've taken screenshots so it's easier to navigate through. So by going on Instagram, whether that be on computer or mobile, and you type in the search area, Carter Combs, these are the three accounts which show up. And I can say that all three accounts are of the same person, the Carter Combs. Because when you look at the follower list on each account, or at least the ones you can access publicly, they show other party goers, friends of friends, right? All connected together. So this is the real person. Carter Combs was a party goer at the time of when Noah was attending that house party. Carter Combs is the sister to Avery Combs, the birthday girl at the time. Carter Combs' mother is known as Stevie Howard. Stevie Howard wasn't at the party at the time, but claims to know a lot about the case only because she's been told things by Jack Newton. Now, who is Jack Newton? Another partygoer, friend, best friend to Noah Presgrove at the time, a friend to Caden Pressey at the time at least, Jack Newton being the boyfriend and his girlfriend being Carter Combs. Carter Combs, as you see on screen, the girlfriend to Jack Newton, right? They were in a relationship at the time. Fast forward on to 2024, February, Carter Combs, Jack Newton got engaged. And then a few months ago, as of right now, a few months ago in 2024, they broke up and the wedding was cancelled. But when you go on Facebook, at least, Carter Combs just so happens to have multiple Facebook accounts there, but she also has multiple Instagram accounts on screen. So I just wanted to give you a bit of a backstory there as to this person, who they are and how significant they are to the case. And at least from what I've been made aware of, Carter Combs hasn't been threatening before, right? Publicly or on Facebook, like some have been vocal. But I think Carter Combs at some point, and what was going on in the community, saying that Carter Combs said she didn't know Noah Presgrove and that she wiped clean her phone. I don't know how true that is personally. I've not seen it from the horse's mouth. I've not seen full-on evidence and proof of that. But other people claim that that's the case. But that's not our focus today. The focus and theme of is threatening behaviour at the wrong place, the wrong time about the inappropriate subject to do with Noah Presgrove. Okay? So, each Carter Comb here is the same individual. One may be older than the other. Maybe it's normal for people to have multiple accounts over time, but in my mind, I tend to only have one account. If it came to YouTube, maybe two accounts if I was doing two different channels, right? Like how many other YouTubers do. But to have multiple accounts, you know, from the Facebook perspective, people were saying Carter Combs had multiple Facebook accounts because the odd one, the default one, was used to get access to one of the Facebook pages, to spy, to listen in. That's what claims were over that way. What I came across, though, with Carter Combs' Facebook profile is during the time of the supposed breakup with Jack, they unfriended one another. But on one of Carter Combs' alternative Facebook accounts, she was still following Jack. So what I did do on these accounts, for example, including this one there, the person in the black dress, that is Carter Combs as well. Even though the name does look different, I mean, they look the exact same, so I'm assuming it's the same exact person. It must be. It has to be because I'm sure the follower said the same people following one another. But none of these accounts were following or had followers called Jack Newton. Now, Jack Newton does have an Instagram account. It just so happens that a person, a viewer on my channel, also reached out to Jack Newton not long ago and was instantly blocked, right? So you can see it's quite tense, the situations nowadays. You might reach out, you might ask a certain question or a thought-provoking one to do with Noah Presgrove. You could either be attacked, silenced, blocked, who knows, right? What I do also want to mention is that Carter Combs did file a protection order against a person called Donna Bond in the past during this case of Noah Presgrove. It was claimed that Donna Bond said bad things about Carter Combs which weren't exactly true. Why is that significant to bring up here? Is because this video portrays Carter Combs in a suspicious negative light. But it's not like altered in that sense. It's not like a false or fixed agenda. I'm just making observations based off her behaviour and her behaviour alone for most part of it. Because she is the one that initiated a private DM and the threatening response. That's why it's being covered, okay? So once again, that's another account just under a different name, Carter Combs, because it looks like the same person. The guy above, that's obviously someone completely different, okay? It's a man. He's got a beard. Move on to her. This is the specific account, her latest one from the looks of it. Only 2 posts, but we don't need to look at them because they're not relevant. Followers and following, some of the partygoers, as I said, and this was the Carter Combs account, the real Carter Combs that did respond back to, you know, member of the general public who first initiated a conversation. We just move on. So I did ask the user, what did you say in order for her to respond in such a way? And we'll get to her response on the next slide. But this user, this individual said, I pretty much said that Noah Presgrove wasn't interested in you and to get over it. Is that word for word? No. There was summarizing it. Could there be a little bit of missing context? Maybe, maybe not. I'm being honest, okay? There could be a little bit of context lacking, or in terms of how it was worded. Maybe Carter Combs misunderstood it or took it as an insult or some form of negative energy, so she thought she would spit it back. But in terms of doing it privately compared to what this person did publicly, it's as if with all the followers she has, Carter Combs did not want to make a public post or response because the words and language what she was going to use would make her look bad and suspicious. But by doing it behind closed doors, who else would really see? Only this individual. And normally, behind closed doors, you see people's true selves. But in the public eye, they can look pure, innocent, and happy and, all positive. It's about being realistic and making those realistic observations, right? So at any point, whether it be Carter Combs or this individual, if they do want to expand on their experience on the receiving end or not, provide additional context behind the thought processing or the comments, you're welcome to do so. Freedom of speech in the comment section down below under this video. But by now, people would be wondering, what exact response did Carter Combs give then if this viewer said that Noah isn't interested in you and that you need to get over it? Well, here we go. So I'm going to zoom in, don't you worry. Middle of the screen. So this is a screenshot from the point of view of the individual that left a public comment on her profile page, okay, on one of her posts. So Carter.Combs22, Carter Combs on Instagram. She initiated the first message today at 11:22 a.m., which I believe was yesterday. Okay. And Carter Combs said in response, I'm going to ducking beat the actual shit out of you. Ducking means the F word. I'm not going to say it just in case YouTube punishes me. But, it's very clear that Carter Combs, the party goer, the one that was one of the last few individuals around Noah Presgrove at the time, Monday, September 4th, 2023. And then later on, early on in the morning, Noah Presgrove, violent, brutal injuries deemed as a beatdown. Beaten with fist, beaten with blunt instruments, who knows? But most people in the community are in agreement that Noah Presgrove was beaten to death with pure brutality. And with Carter Combs being one of the party goers and persons of interest to last interact with Noah Presgrove before he left, fast forward on now, in direct response to a general public individual that left a comment publicly on her page about Noah Presgrove, and her response is, I'm gonna effing beat the shit out of you. How inappropriate is that? Why weren't they confident enough to leave a comment like this publicly on their post? Why did they have to do it in a private DM? So it seems like Carter was very passionate, possibly triggered by the original comment. And of course, there's different ways of looking at it, and that's what I'll do in a second, but I just want people to take this in. This is Carter Combs. This is what she's got to say about a response of an individual saying, you know what, Noah Presgrove didn't want you or didn't like you. Okay, yeah, thought-provoking. Was it the appropriate thing for that random individual, that stranger, to put out there towards Carter Combs? I mean, Let's just say, in a normal, ideal situation in which you might have had a tragedy or murder of someone, and then you've got a loved one or a friend of that victim a year or two later that gets contacted by strangers with certain comments saying, oh, I wonder if this dead person still thinks of you. Maybe they don't anymore. Maybe they never liked you. Yeah, that can be seen as nasty, unnecessary, harassment. It's uncalled for. It shouldn't happen. People shouldn't be doing that. Am I saying that this random individual, general public person that said to Carter Combs publicly that Noah wasn't interested in you, you need to get over it? Was it warranted? Should this have been posted? In my opinion, probably not. It's not exactly necessary to say. The mindset behind this person as to why they said it in the first place, I'm not too sure, but they can always elaborate down below. I mean, are they on the offensive? Kind of. Is Carter Combs on the defensive by defending herself? In a way, yes. But whilst we can say this wasn't called for, it was unnecessary, it probably shouldn't have been said to Carter Combs directly, because what's the motive behind this? Was the recent behaviour by Carter Combs in which triggered a response back or not? From the looks of it, I don't think there was. So you could argue that this individual was prodding the bear. And whilst maybe that wasn't a good thing to do, realistically, in terms of Carter Combs' response, it's no better. Let's make that very clear. If people are going to say that this is uncalled for and this person should never have publicly left a comment to Carter Combs as it's insensitive or inappropriate, well, if you're going to call that out, then you must definitely call this out in terms of the response. If Carter Combs was the better person, they wouldn't be leaving a comment like this. And more specifically, when this is all to do with Noah Presgrove, the Noah Presgrove, who was supposedly violently beaten to death, and Carter Combs was one of the party goers and last known individuals to interact with Noah before Noah left, and for Carter Combs onwards to supposedly claim to have not known Noah at some point and supposedly deleted post or factory reset device, that's debatable up to now, just that part, because I don't know the exact truth. I just want to make that very clear. But when you add it all together, right, with the observations and evidence like what we see on screen right now, and the stories from other witnesses in the past, partygoers, Caden Pressey, Justin Roy, some of his friends or family down there at the time, that Noah Presgrove beaten to death violently, and in response to a comment about Noah, Carter Combs says she's going to beat the shit out of some member of the general public. That's not exactly appropriate, is it? This is almost as bad, maybe this could be worse, than when Stevie Howard said, if we were responsible for killing Noah, we would have done a better job at disposing him. You just don't say that stuff in an active, open investigation case. Right? If this person, Carter Combs, said, I'm going to beat the shit out of you, such as at the party in the party house footage, kind of like Brylan Sweat and Noah Presgrove, that interaction, or even Shady, where she slapped Noah across the face, that's in the moment. That's before Noah's death. That's because they're drunk, partying, messing about, having a good time. Or let's say, fast forward onwards into the future, that for some reason Carter Combs received a harassing text or a harassment public comment, and it was nothing to do with Noah Presgrove, it was nothing to do with the case, it was just some random troll or negative comment online, and you said, shut up before I beep you or I silence you or something. It could be seen as bad still, but not as bad. But because this is all in response to a comment made about the Noah Presgrove situation, that's what makes this look dodgy, right? That's what I'm saying. So what would have been the ideal response from Carter Combs? Well, if this person said, Noah was never interested in you, you need to get over it. Well, I didn't think Carter Combs was that bothered, because Carter Combs was in a relationship anyway at the time and beyond. But maybe this is in response to the time of when Noah wanted to sleep in one of the bedrooms and was rejected, and he got frustrated because of that. Or is it more so because Carter Combs decided to ignore and blank Noah's request to be driven back home because he was dependable on somebody because he was given a lift down there in the first place? Maybe. Was this comment warranted? Probably not, but the response was even worse. The best thing Carter Combs could have done was just simply block this individual, right? Or do a response, but a public one, so everybody else sees it as witness. And you just say back, how could you be so insensitive? That was my best friend. That was my friend. I loved him so much. How dare you say that when he's not here? You know, something like that. That would be the normal response. But no, we don't do that. It's more, I'm going to beat the beep out of you. Well, that's great. That's really promising. Not. Considering that this whole case is to do with a possible murder situation and that supposedly Noah was beaten to death and Carter Combs is threatening to beat somebody else. What does that say about the individual? Does that imply anything back then in the past? As said, this isn't me portraying Carter Combs in a negative light in an unnatural way. She's doing it herself from the looks of it, right? Because look, Carter Combs, you see the profile, Carter Combs, 22. And we go across there, Carter Combs, 22 with the followers. You check her followers, following the party goers. It's the same account. And when I did do the search, only 4 accounts showed up. This one there and these 3 here. So there weren't any alternative or doubled fake accounts. This was the real individual. And that's what they had to say in response. Now, just moving on briefly, on Carter Combs' account, this one here, she does have a follower, but she isn't following them. But the person that's following her is called Jack Newman. Not Newman, not Newton, but Newmen. Is that a play on words? It could be an innocent stranger, could be a completely random individual not related to the case at all. But if you think about it, like how people were skeptical about Jack Newton, 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 right? They were together in the past, Jack and Carter, and then broke up some months ago. Was that a publicity stunt to throw people off, a form of misdirection? Maybe. And secretly in the background they're still friends or closer than ever? Or did it genuinely happen? Who knows? Anything's possible, right? Is there a possibility that Jack still wants to interact with Carter online when they're apart from one another, but instead of Jack using his main Instagram account, he uses an alternative one with a similar name? It is a coincidence, isn't it? A person called Jack and the last name called Newman. Newton, Newman. Not that far off, is it? So could this secretly be Jack? I mean, as their profile, I think it was kind of like a default one, really no post at all. So it could be a throwaway account. It could be Jack, or it could be an innocent stranger. I just wanted to make that very clear. I just thought it was a bit of a dodgy coincidence, that's all. Moving on, these are just some archived stuff from the past. Whilst we follow the theme of threatening behaviour, I'm going to ducking beat the shit out of you, as from what Carter Combs said, to remember the general public. Well, just so it's not one-sided, in the past, this individual on Facebook, taken from their point of view, that was trying to message and contact Stephanie Millan. I'm assuming that's the sister to Jasmine Millan and Jade Millan. Stephanie Millan was at the party at the time. And fast forward onwards, a member of the general public tried interviewing her, Q&As, questions to figure out what was going on. And after that was conducted, shortly afterwards, on Facebook Messenger, Colton Newton. Colton is the brother to Jack Newton. Colton said in defense of Stephanie, calling out this member of the general public for reaching out to Stephanie, saying, "Hey pal, you stay the beep out of the Millan's messages or I'll come and find you." So, what does Colton mean by "I'm going to find you if you continue messaging them"? And why is it of such interest to Colton Newton? Is Colton Newton close to the Millan family? Well, from the looks of it, yeah. I mean, friends, yeah, but more than friends? Who knows at this point? You know, they all seem to be connected together, so maybe they're all looking out for one another. But some are more heavy-handed than others. But they do seem to have a bit of a sharp tongue at times, and always on the defensive, and a little bit over-aggressive and threatening language, right? The best thing that Colton could have said here at the time to that member of the general public was, can you not reach out to these people in the case? They're my friends. If you want answers, you can go through me and ask me directly and not them. Leave them out of it. They don't need to be harassed anymore. That would have been a normal comment, but no, it's straight to, hey man, you stay the hell out of here. The Milan's messages, I'm going to come and find you. Yeah, that's really approachable. Not. So threatening language from Carter Combs, threatening language from Colton Newton, and threatening language from Stevie Howard here. The reason why the name's blanked out is because it was reposted on Reddit, and Reddit has rules and regulations, which is very silly, that you can't show people's full names, even if it is public viewing and the public domain. But if you used to look at this onto Facebook, it would mention the full name. This was basically Stevie Howard responding back to another commenter, contributor on a Facebook page at the time, Noah Presgrove's Army, before it was private. I'll just read it out. Stevie Howard says, sorry to hear about your sister and that your dad had to endure that. Most of the time it is not left up to family. I was the first responder on the department for a long time, and we always took care of that. There's a process that's supposed to be taken in times like this. And may I suggest doing a quick search of Google Earth, you can see the spot in which some refer to as blood. I don't think you can see that. Stevie Howard says, I guess everyone is entitled to their opinion, and I can't keep breaking down how to actually read an autopsy regardless of how special needs it makes them appear. That's an insult. It's hard for me to take comments like yours seriously. My initial response wants to be, in quotes, you're next. To be a smart arse, I'm not sure you'd catch on to the sarcasm attached, so I'll just offer prayers for you as I feel for you. Any offspring you may have laid or co-workers need it, please don't tell me you don't operate heavy machinery or teach. Okay, laying in hard, Stevie Howard saying to this person, you're next. So upon being insulting, calling people special needs if they don't understand something, and having a go at them for what? Producing offspring. It seems a bit personal, that. But to say you're next as in, what, the next person to die? Doesn't sound too good, does it? So you got Stevie Howard saying you're next. You got Colton Newton saying I'm going to come and find you if you keep on messaging her. Bloody hell. And last but not least, Stevie Howard in the past also said that, Aaron, trust me, if some of us horrible parents were involved in the death of Noah Presgrove, there wouldn't be a body in question. You'd have never have found anyone on the receiving end, and that is a beep fact. And yes, he most certainly deserved better. So that's basically saying that, you know, if Stevie Howard and other parents, whoever, were responsible in the death of Noah Presgrove, they would have done a better job at cleaning up. Yeah, that's what you say in a situation like that. Far from it. You shouldn't be acting that way. Hopefully you found that somewhat interesting. Feel free to share and like this video. Share it to Reddit. Share it to maybe Presgrove's Army Facebook page if you want to, if it follows the rules and regulations. If not, you don't have to repost it. But the reason why I suggest it, if possible, and if it follows guidelines elsewhere, is because this video may not be around for too long. Let's be realistic. If I have received false privacy complaints, false reports on my videos beforehand, how do you think this one will go, right? So what I want to say in advance, if this video disappears, that's not by my choice. It's because someone may have reported it. And whoever did, it would seem fairly obvious, right? Considering what this video is about and who it's looking at. I just want to make it very clear once again that this video is not portraying Carter Combs in a negative, dark light, in a forced, unnatural way. I'm just simply showing you what their behaviour and their attitude is themselves from what they had to say. They made the choice to send that message, to post it and do it behind everyone's backs, where most people normally wouldn't see that side to Carter Combs. But now that side has been brought to light, okay? So if anyone else has been threatened or received threatening messages from key people within the case, providing it is from the real key people and real accounts, you can always share your experiences down below in the comment section, just like how this person did recently. Of course, when it comes to interacting with people within the case, act in somewhat of an appropriate tone and voice. Because whilst, yes, maybe sometimes you do need to poke the bear in order to get a reaction or response, try and be a better person than those within the case and how they act. Because as you know, they could always use it as ammunition against yourself. Look at what happened with Donna Bond in the past, where Carter Combs filed a protection order against her. And we covered that in a separate video. Okay, maybe not full context given right now, but it's just a quick reference summary, that's all. So thanks for watching this video. Hopefully it wasn't too long. Hopefully people were able to watch along and was also notified of this video. If you weren't notified of my earlier one, check it out, click on the I symbol. And if you do want to support this channel, links are down below. With that being said, leave it there for now. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, good night.